It's what you've been waiting for, as well as I have. It's the return finally of Macro Man and his trusty sidekick Cobblers. They're back on site and they've started the final development of the fishing lake. So I thought what I'd do is just talk you through what the plans are, show you a little bit of footage on his first day, and then we're going to do daily updates, because as you well know, Macro Man works at the speed of light.
Good morning, everybody. He's coming. He can't chill. He wake about 4 o'clock in the morning to go open the gate.
Yeah, got to be ready.
Not let the digger in, let the tiger in. He can't fucking chill now.
We're ready. Let's go.
What your first job?
Show him where I want my biochar pit digging. The world record biochar pit. It might not happen, but the pit is going to be dug. I can't even speak properly.
One spoon that
No,
do.
about 3 or 4 spoons, thank you.
Oh, that too deep. You're gonna get like a pond in there.
And pressure on you today. You've designed.
Up to me. Up to me.
You've designed your fishing island.
Yeah, I know
so
that.
Leave everything else to me, missus. So soft. That's why we can't get the trucks on, isn't it? This bit of the island was underwater for about a month. That's not going to stop him. Oh, bloody hope not. Once it's past this bit, it's higher and there seems to be a lot more stone. Bloody hell, it's getting a bit... I do worry about him. Yeah. And that's why he's a legend.
นู่นอันนี้ให้มันเป็นเกาะแบบไม่มีถนนขึ้นอ่ะเข้าใจไหม
ไม่เป็นถนนนะ
ไม่มีถนน
มันเป็นเกาะขึ้นเลยนะ
Looking good. So the idea is once he starts digging out this area here, the level of the lake will drop down and then he'll be able to tweak the shelves. Once he's done on here, then some of the shelves will be going on the outside of the outside of the lake as well. Some of you may be thinking, well, why didn't you just wait till the real depths of the dry season, like we did when we had the main dig over a year ago? The problem being is, when you have a big excavation job, the water level drops down a lot, so we were left with, in parts, water that was only 1 metre deep. So we don't want to wait until the water's right down and then start digging. So the way he's digging is he's leaving a bit of a barrier and digging a big hole, letting the water go into there so that the shelf on the island becomes exposed. Now the shelf on the island, if I just flick the camera around, it's already started dropping with some of the work he's been doing. Out there you'll see that that's exposed, but this is about, I don't know, in places about 1/2 metre lower down. So the idea being, when he drops the water in there, he'll be then able to excavate the majority of this outer shelf. Not all of it, but most of it. We are leaving some of it for the fish to spawn and the small ones to hide in, but a lot of it's coming out. We're going to make it nice and wide. The reason being is we need lots of soil on here. So the next phase will be the outer shelf. As he's digging out the inner shelf, the water level will continue to drop, obviously. Then that should free up the outer shelf. Then he can drive around the outside and carry out the repairs here. The main repair is going to be located over there. While he is working over there, we are going to put a couple of pipes in to help keep the lake topped up, and also an overflow pipe as well, so if the levels do get high in here, or too high again, then we can control the maximum height of that. Going on from that is the access onto Goat Island. So we were toying with the idea of maybe turning this into a fishing lodge, and keeping the goats near the house, but no, it's too good for that, the building that we had made. So we're going to raise up the height of the access way, which is over here. Where the blue net is, this is the scene of one tsunami that we had when the dam broke. The water was just full on gushing into here. So this bit is going to be raised up the same as the rest of the outside road, but sloped enough that we can still drive on and off here. This is going to be raised up, oh, I would say at least a metre. It's hard to gauge really because it drops so much. You know, it doesn't look a lot when you dig a hole, but where you put the soil, it's probably 3 times the amount once it explodes with when it hits the air. So it's very, very soft. It's been there a year, so it just shows you it takes a long time for it to compact down. So it'll probably end up about 2 meters high, or maybe 1.5 meters high, and then hopefully when it compacts down, even with him driving on it, it will compact down a lot after that. We'll have at least 1 metre. So Toon and I, because we are good brickies, will be raising up the outside retaining walls there. Block work, easy innit? This access road is going to lead right up to the front door on the goat house. So if by some miracle we have another dam break, or we have the mother of all monsoons, we can get the goat house open and walk the goats straight off the island. So we'll never ever have that nightmare again, touch wood. And then the final bit, which is the bit what we were looking forward to the most, well I certainly am, don't know about Toon, she didn't give much away, is the swims or the pegs. I don't know if you use the same terminology in the US, guys, but the areas that you're going to be fishing from. So they're going to be designated areas that are going to double up for clamping. Sorry, I just saw some fish jumping, I got sidetracked. They're going to double up as camping areas. The most easy access swim is going to be here. This is Fran's peg. So we're going to develop an area a little bit down there, but big enough that you can put a tent up, at least a 2-man tent. We will have somewhere on the lake where it's big enough for 2 tents, or a 4-man tent for people coming in families, or if you want a bit of bonding going on. Not here to judge. Either side, with the water being a little bit deeper, we're going to have 2 hyacinth beds. The next swim, which is probably the best named swim in the history of naming swims, is going to be on the island itself, and that is the infamous Glory Hole swim. So that's going to be redeveloped over there. That's probably going to be, if I was fishing here currently, I would be fishing over there. The bigger stuff's over there. Down here is just alive with the smaller stuff. Over the very far yonder, opposite to the old Macro Man point, because that is coming out, that's the Poacher's Nook swim. As far as additional swims going, we're looking from anywhere from 2 to 4 more swims. The reason we haven't set it in stone is we just want to see how the lake and the island looks as Macro Man is progressing. The last thing we want to do is put another 4 swims in if they're a little bit, they don't feel quite right. What I mean is, you know, you don't want to be fishing on top of other people. Although we are in the middle of nowhere, as I say, there's a very good chance that you know, we won't have 10 anglers on the lake at any one time. But then again, you know, if you're coming to visit us out here, you're probably of the ilk the same as us, that you want to get away from everyone. And certainly when I'm fishing, I don't want anyone's line near me. I mean, this is probably the main cause of my rows with Toon, you know, when she's poaching my swim. Awful state of affairs. So yeah, nice and secluded, you know, but of course you will have the opportunity to call food and drink to where you're fishing. So for these 2 to 4 additional swims, we will need names, of course. Now, one has been reserved for one kind gent and his wife who visited us not too long ago. The reason we've reserved it for them, not because they were nice people, which they were, they kindly donated or pledged a few baht to pay for Macro Man for quite a few hours. So we're still waiting for their chosen name for the swim. Hopefully it won't be too sordid like the glory hole. So there's going to be at least one more swim that's up for grabs. Right, the dog's fed. You're waiting for fish pellet that gets dropped on the floor, aren't you, girl, hey? Good girl, Spoon. Don't know where Gang is, though, do we? Hey, she's on another little sortie. Once all the shelving work is complete, then we can get busy topping the lake up. And we're trying to coincide it with, obviously, the dry season, but the ponds, some of the stock ponds have been calling out to be drained for quite some time, mainly the fence pond. The fish are too big to be in there. To me, they look a little bit, well, not necessarily stunted, but they're not packing on the weight anymore. You know, they seem to have reached a length, and they're not filling that length out now. So yeah, we need to get the water out of those and get the fish into the lake. So all the water that's drained out of the ponds, the walking catfish pond is going to be drained as well, and also a drainage ditch or drainage canal. Ooh, it's a big one. It's all going to go back into the lake. We're also still getting water off the far end of the land as it slopes down towards the lake. So we're going to take advantage of that and try and get as much water, you know, without actually using our borehole water or anything like that. So, you know, get the work done, get the fish in there, and then get as much water as we can get back into it. The vast majority of the lake is 4.5 meters deep. I would say that's, as you know, the perfect levels for the year. Height of the 6-month drought season, just over 1.5 meters, I would say, but we just had it dug, so the whole thing just dropped anyway. So I would say, guesstimating, if the ideal height is depth is 4.5 meters, a normal dry season I would expect it to be 3.5 meters, and a normal monsoon I would say 5.5 meters. So we're going to try and set everything up to encompass those fluctuations in levels. You don't want to be half submerged underwater fishing, and you don't want to be 3 meters above the water line either. So yeah, be good.